Hi everyone, welcome to Nolte's Lightning Talk. My name is Francisco Giraldo. I'm a senior full stack web developer here at Nolte, and today I'll be talking about fluid web design. So, what is fluid web design? Fluid web design is a website where its UI elements accommodate with whatever the screen size is. The UI elements change constantly of size when the screen is resized, but keeping the same radio or proportion. And generally, it uses the full width size of the screen. So I'm going to show you some live examples of a fluid web design. Okay, this is the first example. As you can see, all the elements are full size. They cover all the screen size, and when you resize the screen, they accommodate automatically, keeping the same radio of the images and proportions. So the term fluid refers that the elements change in a change of size fluidly with no hard changes. They just keep the same design, but in a different size. Here we have another example. And finally, this is the third example where we can see that the top sidebar, the top menu bar, sorry, is fluid. So you can see that all the elements accommodate in the spacing. So as you can see, some of the elements change size. For example, the images, the main logo, the size changes, and also the font size also changes automatically. So nothing is fixed. Here at Nolty, we usually create our websites using a fixed container width. So, for example, in this website, you can see that the main container doesn't stretch full width. And this is a little experiment I did. What would happen if the container was full width? So in this example, just by changing the main container to a full size, you can see that some of the elements didn't accommodate. For example, the images didn't stretch, or the spacings didn't also accommodate proportionally. So you can see there's a lot of white spaces here. Okay, some of the technical details for creating a fluid design are that the website, the web design is full width, as I said before. Most of the images are resizable. Not all of them. Some of them keep the same image size, and also it applies for fonts. Some of the fonts are resizable. Some of the techniques that I expect in fluid websites were that some uses this library called FitText.js, and some other websites use another technique where the font size is calculated with the relative units like EM and VW. That's the viewport. So let's see some examples of resizable fonts. So for example, this is the jQuery library used to resize fonts. As you see here, the fonts are resized depending on the container, on the size of the container. So this is a technique done with this library called FitText. And in the case of Smashing Magazine, they use the other technique with relative units. So for example, here this text here, it gets the size changes. Another technical detail is that the fluid design pages only use one breakpoint. This is different. This is very different of the responsive web designs, because responsive web designs generally uses 3 breakpoints: mobile, tablet, and desktop. But these designs use only one, the mobile breakpoint. And this is because the elements can accommodate in large screens, but in smaller screens there is just no space. So it's a necessary breakpoint just to change the layout of the elements. Another technical detail, is that the sizes are set in percentages, and other elements like images, paddings, or margins are set in EM. So what are the advantages of Fluid Web Design? It's 100% compatible with all the devices. It's talking mainly with large devices where there you can see no space lost in large screens. And it's also a very cool and beautiful experience. And the same design or code is the same for medium, big, and large screens. So you don't have to take care of the different breakpoints in large screens. Some of the disadvantages are that you have less control of the layout. You have to, there are some difficult decisions into know what will be fluid and what not. The embedded media is also difficult to make it fluid. The text paragraph, they still need to have a small width so that they are easier to read. So this ends up with having empty spaces in large screens. And also in development, you have to use different units. So it's not always with the same unit in pixels, but you have to work with several units like EM, VW, percentages, and also these websites contain a lot of big images, so the website becomes slower to download. And also you have to do more testing for very large screens. So in conclusion, we can say that choosing between a fixed or a responsive and a fluid website will depend on the audience and the purpose of the site. A digital agency may want to create a high impact on their users by creating a fluid design, but a blog page may prefer to use a fixed design